Hey guys, on here, we are back for episode 8 of House of the Dragon. Last episode, the lines have been drawn, man. You know, there was multiple altercations throughout the episode, but after a violent spat between the children, resulting in Aemond losing an eye, things just went nuts. And we really got to see where everybody kind of drew their mark and where they kind of stand at the moment, whose side's taking who. It's, yeah, man. The Valerians just overall had a really bad day. They think their son is dead. They just finished the funeral rites for their daughter. Everything is just falling apart around them, and then all this stuff with the kids happens. They lose Vhagar to Alicent's children. You know, lots of stuff happened, man. Lots of stuff happened. I just, like, the entire time, I'm just like, I feel so bad for the Valerians, man. But guys, we're going to go ahead and hop in. We only have 2 episodes to go after this, and the season will be done, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of flown by. But with that said, if you want to see the full length reaction to this, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, it gives you access as well. It is in watch-along format, so you can just see up your own footage with the time code, so my reaction to the entire episode. You get the same thing for all the other shows we cover here on the channel. You also get to suggest and then vote on what movies we react to each month. We got monthly Q&As, behind-the-scenes footage to try to make it worth your while, since you are going to support the channel. But of course, I know never can do that, and a simple way you can help us out is just by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing these videos, because it really does go a long way with helping us grow here on YouTube. If you're new, if you're tuning in for the first time, I really hope if you enjoy this reaction, maybe you'll stick around, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. With that all said and out of the way, gang, let's go ahead and hop into episode 8. Here we go.
It's been near 6 years since I last saw my lord husband, Maester. I must know. Will he live?
In the fighting, his neck was slashed by a courser's dagger. He fell overboard into the sea. The wound was severe. Much blood was lost.
Wow.
The fever that followed. Ship's maester said he burns from within.
Damn, man. It's very like Khal Drogo, actually.
I've seen blood fever overcome men half his age.
I will not suffer the talk of crows in my house, Fabien.
On his death, the seat passes.
To Lucerys Velaryon, as is my lord husband's desire.
I am the sea snake's own blood.
Be careful, good brother. None can take your words for treason. The matter has been decided.
By a man whose ambition has brought down on us calamity after calamity. My brother cares only for the history books.
That is the conversation they had in the last episode, too.
Is it to be snuffed out? Supplanted by the pups of House Strong? Driftmark is mine, by all rights.
My cousin the king would have your tongue for this.
But it's not a king who sits the Iron Throne these days, good sister. It's a queen.
Tides have shifted. What in the world? Oh. Interesting. 3.
Welcome back, princess.
Doesn't seem like a good sign. Man, dude, he's at least gotten a shit ton of work done on this thing. Though, like, it takes up so much space in here. Is the intent to, like, move it somewhere else or leave it in this room? It's really well done, though. Oh, God. My lord, man.
This is Aegon.
Aegon.
And this is Viserys.
Aw.
That is a name fit for a king.
I know Viserys isn't like immune to fault in all of this debacle, but I feel so bad for him, man. Just hit the lot and
I'm sorry.
that he's been dealt. Is something sus in it?
And no one else saw what happened between the two of you. If anyone else were to hear about this.
I haven't told anyone.
You told Sir Eric, and Talia, and now me. And though I believe you were not to blame, others might not be so trusting. They might think you were trying to besmirch the prince, or worse, that you're the sort of girl that might have enticed him in the first place. And you know what happens to girls like that.
I wouldn't dream of anything another one to anyone. You're right.
I know you won't. For your troubles.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I was like, are we gonna rip out a tongue? What's gonna happen here?
The tea, Rhys.
Oh.
How can you keep carrying on like this, especially on a day like today?
Why? What is it today?
You are no son of mine. My father and I are mere stewards of the king's will and wisdom.
And how exactly is that wisdom expressed?
Mm-hmm.
In blinks and wheezes. I'd be surprised if he could remember his own name, or if you could.
King Viserys' condition has worsened since you saw him last. Subjects him to considerable.
Where's Sir Kristen? There he is. Is that Aemon? Yeah. So you'd see the eye patch. Dude, looks like straight out of a fucking Dungeons and Dragons book, though. Now. Jeez, man, they're really going at it.
I don't give a shit about Tawnies. Nephews? Have you come to train?
Dude, he's 180 from the pig day, man. After he got that dragon, after he went out and got that claim, man. He's like, nobody's gonna fuck with me anymore.
Will you want a child at the command of the greatest fleet in Westeros?
We must, of course, act in the interest of our subjects.
The next Lord of the Ties will be deeply in your debt, Your Grace. As will Driftmark, in all its strength.
With Alicent, you can always see like a devil and angel on her shoulders, always just kind of pulling her one way or the other.
The Song of Ice and Fire, do you believe it to be true?
Aegon's dream.
In naming me heir, you divided the realm. I thought I wanted it. But the burden is a heavy one. It's too heavy.
My only child.
If you wish me to bear it, then defend me. And my children.
This is so isolating and crippling for her, man. The situation.
The whole of my family are gathered at the Red Keep. I want us to die together.
Man, he wasn't made for all of these games, man, but like, he just wants his family and everybody to be together and not fight and all that jazz like anybody would, but like, he doesn't Well, he does, but he refuses to see what he's wrought.
If I am to grace this fast with some answer, I will start by reminding the court that nearly 20 years ago in this very...
Oh!
King Viserys of House Targaryen, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms.
Otto's like, the fuck is this?
I will sit the throne today. Your Grace.
I'm so worried about him walking up there with all those blades hanging around. Like, he loses grip on that cane and is like, blah!
I said I'm fine.
A Daemon. I know this isn't pure self-interest. He genuinely does love his brother, man. But it is both.
I do not understand why petitions are being heard over a settled succession. The only one present who might offer keener insight into Lord Corlys's wishes is the Princess Rhaenys.
Wow. It's all gonna fall upon her. We know what Corlys said, but I don't.
It was ever my husband's will that Driftmark pass through Selenor to his true-born son, Lucerys Velaryon. As a matter of fact, the Princess Rhaenyra has just informed me of her desire to marry her sons Jace and Luke to Lord Corlys's granddaughters, a proposal to which I heartily agree.
Well,
dude, the look on Otto's face. He's like, he's eating this up.
Is my true-born grandson. And you are no more than the second son of Driftmark.
You may run your house as you see fit, but you will not decide the future of mine.
One, King. Two, Corlys already made this call and he is in charge of your house.
Her children are bastards! And she is a whore.
Oh, God. Dude, he's gonna get himself axed.
We'll have your tongue for that.
Oh! 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 Holy shit! Holy shit!
He can keep his tongue.
Disarm him!
Oh my God! I mean, the way that was going, it was going to be Daemon or someone else. By the king's orders. My God. What the fuck?
You may wish to leave the Silent Sisters to their work. It is ill luck to look upon the face of death.
The stranger has visited me more times than I can count, Grand Maester.
Yeah, that is true. Especially at this point. Oh my gosh.
My own face is no longer a handsome one, if indeed it ever was. But tonight, I wish you to see me as I am. Not just a king, but your father, your brother, your husband, and your grandsire, who may not, it seems, walk for much longer among you.
Oh. Man.
The crown cannot stand strong if the House of the Dragon remains divided.
Set aside your grievances, if not for the sake of the crown, and for the sake of this old man, who loves you all so dearly.
I feel so bad for him, man. Even if he did make his own bed, man, he was always trying to do what he thought was best.
I wish to raise my cup to Her Grace the Queen.
Your graciousness moves me deeply, Princess. We're both mothers. And we love our children. We have more in common than we sometimes allow. You will make a fine queen.
I regret the disappointment you're soon to suffer. But if you ever wish to know what it is to be well satisfied...
Oh my God.
To you and your family's good health, dear uncles.
If anyone's putting on a mask right now, I say that as it pans into Viserys. I mean, like Otto, Alicent, Rhaenyra, and all that stuff. Like, they're doing a really good job. Like, I believed some of what they were saying in these moments, if not just for Viserys' sake.
Let us drain our cups to these three strong boys. I dare you to say this again. Why? It was only a compliment. Do you not think yourself strong?
Oh my God.
It's best, I think, if we go back to Dragonstone.
You've only just arrived.
Let me see the children home. I'll, return on Dragonback.
The king and I would both like that.
Oh. At least some of this kind of came out positive for now. Who are you? Haven't seen her in a minute.
It's been quite a night at the castle, it seems. Yes, lady.
What the hell? I forget, who has her ear? Otto does, doesn't he?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you hear his breath?
Believe it to be true.
Believe what to be true, my king.
Oh, don't you remember? Aegon.
Our son.
His dream. The Song of Ice and Fire. It is
oh no.
true. The prince that was promised. It is you.
He thinks he's talking to Rhaenyra.
You are the one. You must do this.
I understand, my king.
Did she read that as him giving her the leave to do what she needs to because he thought he was talking to Rhaenyra?
My love.
Damn. Man, that was such a wild episode. I feel like I just keep saying that. So we kick off the episode with Corlys off again, fighting in the Step Zones again, as the Triarchy is back again. They really just cannot keep this thing down. And he's taken a wound, and it's become infected. It is spreading, he's fevering, and they don't know if he's going to make it. You know, very, very reminiscent of what happened with Khal Drogo. After everything, it was just a poorly tended to wound that took him down. which is all it really needs to take back in these days and stuff like this. I say back in these days, but this is a fantasy world, but you know what I mean. So that leaves Driftmark open to challenge for the succession from somebody like Corlys' brother, Vaemond, who, bless his soul, man, like, no matter what side he was always on, he was speaking truth. Whether anybody wanted to hear it or not, he was speaking truth. We know he's right. We know his claims are true. Nobody else wants to entertain or hear them because of the games that are being played. The Game of Thrones and all of that. And he's trying to preserve his house, despite the fact that he's also going against the wishes of his house and trying to speak for Corlys, even though Corlys has already spoken his piece. It's just he doesn't like what Corlys has said at this point. So now he's challenging the throne. He's challenging his family, his patriarch. He's challenging his matriarch. He's challenging all of this because of the truth, and he dies for it. So I do have to commend him for that. When I think at a point he definitely realized that no matter what, he's not going to win this discussion. That everybody else is playing a completely different game than he is at the moment. And I think he realizes that, and that's when he just like, he's going to like, if I'm going down, I'm going to like spout this shit before anything happens. And then he says, he said all the things nobody really wants out in the world, is not, especially not Viserys, especially not Daemon. So Daemon caught him in the back, lobbing him at the seam. He was talking big, talking that game, and got right in that line too, right in the crease of his mouth. That came out of no. I thought he was going to go down, but I wasn't expecting like just a lightning quick in the moment right there thing. I was expecting Viserys to be like, take him away, or whatever, or something like that. But like the tension of that scene was pretty interesting because like it's like everybody knows the truth, but nobody's willing to admit it or say it or acknowledge it. You know, Alicent believes it, knows it even, but like at this point, like it's not like she's, you know, they're pleading their cases, and he was just like, I'm not playing this bureaucratic bullshit anymore if this is how this is going to go down. Especially when Rhaenys sided with Rhaenyra in the end. The moment, you know, he might have had a chance had Viserys never come in there. The whole tone of that room shifted when Viserys showed up. What I did find fascinating, and I think it played towards the overall like scene work throughout a lot of the episode, where I felt like there was actually a genuine compassion and concern for one another that came out of it, and regret even, between Alicent and Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra came in purely on the defense as always, because that's just kind of how things have been since she's been named heir. But like Alicent, after her outburst and everything, even after the encouragement from her father, seems to be seeking forgiveness or clarity for her imbalance by committing to the Seven. Especially considering they traded out everything for the 7-pointed star in the decoration. You know, like Rhaenyra, right when she comes up, is like, well, that's fucking new. And we see that throughout, you know, between the prayers before dinner and the her trying to control herself in these certain situations when Rhaenyra is still kind of being Rhaenyra. You know, when they're greeted and all that stuff, and like Rhaenyra says some things out of turn that Alicent definitely wouldn't have liked. She's like, I'll forget you said that by the mother or whatever when we go to do the appeals. She's trying to keep it together. Which, like, I think that pays off when they have the dinner scene when Viserys, after everything, was like, everybody for once is under the same roof. So he wants to kind of try to have this moment, because I'm sure he knows and feels that he doesn't have much time left, and this is a rare occasion. So he's putting off his medicine to power through it so that he could be cognizant as much as possible for the hearing in the throne room and this little dinner discussion, where he's still trying to be the great mediator. I think the greatest fault in his rule so far is he's never, aside from now and his reformation of Rhaenyra as his heir, he's not been very steadfast about standing by his decisions or making decisions that he knows is going to imbalance things, because he's very attached to this prophecy, bringing Westeros together. And so he plays the mediator. He's too afraid to make enemies in the seats by picking a side, choosing sides. He just fence sits the whole time and tries to keep balance while everybody else is just nipping at his heels. In a way, that festering that he fails to stamp out by choosing one side or the other is kind of reminiscent, or at least accentuated, by what's happening to him physically. The deterioration of his body, of his mind, is kind of a representation of his lack of being firm. Because how did this all start? The cuts from the throne. Had he been sturdier, made of sturdier stuff, committed, maybe that those blades might not have bit into that stone, you know? He's been soft, he's been lenient, he's been malleable, and it allowed him to be punctured, allowed him to be weakened in the end. And not to say that's always a bad thing, but given this situation and the context, I think that's kind of what we're meant to take away from it. But in this last little moment, he's like, come on, put this shit aside. I don't give a fuck if I'm the king. I'm like your father, I'm your husband, your grandfather. Like, can we do this? Can we just be a family for a second? And like, I got real, I was getting pretty damn close to emotional in that moment. Like, man, I almost got pretty messy, especially when they were carrying away, when he just couldn't take the pain anymore. But like, where it came down to, like, especially like I was saying, like Rhaenyra and Alicent toasting one another. Like, I felt like that was genuine. The thing is, the things have bubbled up so much at this point with whispers and intrigue and distrust that it's infected their children. Even if Alicent and Rhaenyra make up at this point, and like like reading the room is not the skill of these kids. At least I gotta say Alicent's, because they were, again, like last episode, antagonizing everybody. You know, sure, Luke and Jace were part of the prank that Aegon played on Aemond, you know, with the pig. And then they put the pig on the table and they can't help but be like, well, ain't that ironic? Fucking murder elf over there, just glaring at him and then going all strong, knowing exactly what he's doing. Everybody in there knows exactly what he's doing. It's not... he's trying to, again, be a little shit. The thing is, these kids are passing this on, and I got to say, like Rhaenyra's kids, they're timid, man. They are not, aside from the childish things that kids do, they're just kind of hanging out and chilling most of the time. And it's really Alicent's kids that keep fucking provoking this, like, every conflict. And Kristen, though, only had like one little moment there with him full on sparring Aemond, showing just like how much he's just committed to not being the weak link anymore, not getting pushed around. He's like, I stole this motherfucking dragon, I beat your ass, I lost an eye, I'm gonna be a badass. No more pig fucking pranks, whatever. You know, he's kind of following in Daemon's kind of footsteps in a way, because he's not the heir. Would there be one on that side? It's his older brother, who's just a drunken shitbag who just puts his dick wherever he wants. So like that Homelander scene where he's just like cranking it out in the window, man. He's just, and then he's in there like they just declared their matchings for Jace and Luke, and then he just walks over to the one and was like, hey, I know he's not gonna fucking do it for you, so if you ever get tired, come see me. Like, they're just instigating all the time. And that's where this is gonna go. They've learned all. They've in the midst of all this stuff, Alicent and Otto have, and Viserys. I mean, Viserys has been absent for most of their lives in a lot of ways. I doubt he's got a strong relationship with them, regardless, because he's always kind of been sick and the mom's, like, Allison's the only one that's been able to take care of him most of the time. So I'm sure, like, they're just kind of left to their own devices. I can't wholly blame them. I can't wholly blame Allison for the situation because it's just kind of the luck of the draw. It just sucks. But because of that, they've been able to fester and foster these negative traits unchecked. And Allison's response, because she's seen this happen, all she knows is to, like, just beat the fuck out of Aegon, and he just kind of keeps doing his thing. Like, that's not how you dissuade that behavior. I mean, it's already a little too late at that point, I think, for him. For now, I mean, maybe his eyes can open down the line, but like, oh, that look too after the dinner, whenever Aemond and Daemon locked eyes, I was like, what's happening here? What's happening here? Man, and then the whole thing with Rhaenyra, like, she's like buckling under the pressure of all of this, and she wants to hear once again that her father believes in her and this prophecy and that she chose him. But because of the medication, all that stuff gets clouded over, wakes up in the middle of the night post-dinner thinking, like, coming back to that conversation, thinking it's Rhaenyra and it's Alicent, and she doesn't know this conversation. She doesn't know the Song of Ice and Fire. She doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. She just hears her son's name and prince that was promised, and it's your destiny to bring Westeros together. Another thing, like, Viserys, like, dies thinking he set things right when his dying words are literally going to undo anything that might have come out of that dinner table. Because now you have two sides that wholly believe in what's going on, and they are going to clash under that. And this is going to be like, she's probably going to go in there and be like, hey, he said he took it back. He said my son's heir. And Rhaenyra's going to be like, the fuck are you talking about? And we're just going to be like, and there he goes again. Anyway, guys, this was a wild episode. These last two episodes, I imagine, are going to be pretty intense. But guys, that's all I got for now. What did you all think of the episode? What are your thoughts on everything that happened? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Feel free to join us at our Discord. We can talk about it there as well. Links to that in all my social description box below. Follow me to every one of those. If you want to see the full length reaction, remember it's on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, because you access as well. And speaking of, before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends: Benny Share, Philly Vane, Yori Coruscant, Margaret Grace, Melita, Robert Angriano, Raven McCann, Status Alive, Jeffrey Hale, and M. Sephiroth. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. That's it for this episode, guys. I'll see you all next week with the penultimate episode of the season. Take care, everybody.